Sif Yud Beis. So we spoke that a Minyan needs to have 10 people, 10 pikchim, people that are not able to hear or able to speak. They need to be gedolim adults. What does it mean, gedolim? Says the Alter Rebbe in Sif Yud Beis, la'olam hu katan, one is always considered a child, at shiyavi beis saidis acher shiyeh v'yir gimel shana v'yemechad, until he grows 2 years after he becomes 13 years. Before that age, in the Shuma, just hairs, but these are not the hairs of a sign of maturity. Sif Yud Gimel. Mi shenoilad b'yoyim rishon shel Chodesh Kislev. Sheyom lamed shema Cheshvan. Someone was born on the 30th day of Cheshvan, which is the first day of Chodesh Kislev. B'shnas Yigimel, on his bar mitzvah year, Chodesh ma Cheshvan chaser, that year Cheshvan is missing the 30th. It's only 29 days, so he's missing the day of his Yom Haledes. Chodesh Kislev only Yom Echad. Chodesh Kislev is only 1 day. After Bikeni and Nas bar mitzvah de Chodesh Kislev, he still does not become bar mitzvah until he actually hits Chodesh Kislev. Even in general, when we count a month, when is the new month, the new year? We count it by the second day of Chodesh, which is the Iker, and the first day of Chodesh, like tonight's the first day of Chodesh, first day of Adar, it's part of the previous month. It's still Shvat, right? Lamed Shvat. It's called Lamed Shvat, even though it's the first day of Chodesh Adar. Kol makom edayin le'imalo giyu gimel shana shleimis v'yem le'yoyim at sheyavru chavtes yoyim shleimim mar Cheshvan, until it passes by 29 complete days from Cheshvan. Kamoishe noilad acher she'avru kvar chavtes yoyim. Meaning, this person doesn't have a birthday in the year of his bar mitzvah, because he was born in a year that Kislev was, that Cheshvan was a malay, was a full month. Because some months of the year are 29 days, some are 30 days. It's called a Chodesh malay, Chodesh chaser. The way how it works is, Chodesh Tishrei is always 30 days. It's always a malay. Chodesh Teves is always a chaser. From Tevis and on, the rest of the year is in a pattern. Tevis is 29 days, which is a chaser. Shvat is always, we're now in Shvat. Tonight, it's the 30th night, 30th day, it's always 30 days, Shvat. It doesn't change. From Tevis and on, it's a pattern of chaser, malay, till we reach Elul, which is chaser. Elul is always 29 days. Chavtes Elul is always Reish Erev Rosh Hashanah. Tishrei is always a malay. There's only 2 months that fluctuate in the calendar, which is Cheshvan and Kislev. Cheshvan and Kislev can have a number of options how they can be set up. If you have both Cheshvan and both Kislev are complete full months, Chadashim Malayim are 30 days each, that year is called a Shana Tmima or a Shana Malaya, complete, a full year.
What size is that?
It's set up by the calendar. There's a cheshbon to set up, which is sets up also how many leap years we have and when the leap years are. And this is all to keep. The reason b'chlal, our calendar, is a very interesting mix. The Goyim go by the solar calendar. It means a year follows the sun. How many follows the sun?
65 days in the quarter.
We follow the lunar. Every month is a lunar month. We go by the month. They also divided the year by 12 months, But reality is they're not following really the lunar cycle, because they make their own. They just every year the same, and there's no cheshbon at trying to keep connection to the lunar month, to the month cycle. Yidin Yisrael, it says doim in Lavana compared to Lavana, and therefore mine in Lavana. Yidin count by the moon. Every month, when is Rosh Chodesh? When is the rebirth of the new moon? That's how we calculate our time. Otherwise, what makes time time? The time what makes time is a month. Is the lunar calendar of Lavana. However, we also, if we'd only go by the lunar calendar, I mean, we would not at all be mechashav with the sun, with the solar system. So, our chagim would not be in the seasons that they are in now. For example, Pesach would eventually be in the middle of the winter, because the lunar months, seasons go by the sun. The sun is what creates the seasons. The positions of the sun is what creates the four tkufis that we have, the four seasons. So if we would just ignore the sun and we just follow the Lavana, just follow the lunar system, we would just do cycles of 12 months, a regular year of a lunar year of a Shnas HaLavana is 354 days. But the solar year that takes for the four seasons till the sun reaches the original spot that was in the beginning of the year before takes a little bit over 365 days, which is over 11 days difference. So if we just be doing everything based on the Lavana, Tes Vav Nisan would eventually go creep earlier and earlier in the seasons, and it'd be middle of the winter. And we know the Torah that tells us Shomer is Chodesh Aviv. Torah that told us you have to be careful in Pashas Boy, that you should keep the Pesach always in Chodesh Aviv in the spring. In order to keep in the spring, every once in a while we have a Shana Muberes, a leap year. We had another month in, which makes up for the missing days and puts us back on schedule with the solar year. So we have a system comprised of both together, and we try to keep them aligned. Anyways, Lamaisa, the Levana, Shnas Levana, when both Chodesh Kislev and Cheshvan are Malayim, they're complete, it's called Ashana Malaya, Ashana Tmima. However, when they're both missing, they're both 29 days, those 2 months, it's called Ashana Chasera, a year it's missing. When it's a pattern of Kislev being a Chaser and Tevis being a Malay, then it's called Shana Kesidra. It's an order. Why? It's a pattern the entire year, because Tishrei is always a Malay, like we spoke. And if Cheshvan is a Chaser, Tevis is a... Kislev. Cheshvan is a Chaser, Kislev is a Malay. Tevis is always Chaser, like we said, and from then on it's all a pattern. So the entire year goes, starting with Tishrei, Malay Chaser, the entire year is called Shana Kesidra.
How are we supposed to know when is in Shana?
You look at the calendar.
That's good. The only ones who know about it are the guys who make the
No, Hillel set up a calendar, and we follow the calendar of a system of all the years. It's all set up, the system. Every 19 years is a full cycle, which usually has I think it's around 11, 12 regular years and 7 leap years, which are spread around. And by the ending of the 19 years, the solar years and the sun and the lunar years match. They meet up with no remainder, very little remainder.
Where did not long ago?
The 19th Shana Yutas?
The bottom of them together.
2016.
Something like that.
So, Lamaisa, sometimes Chodesh Kislev is Lamed. So he could be, the child was born, the baby was born on Lamed, but the next year Kislev doesn't have a birthday. It's not. There's only 29 days in Kislev. But what happens? That happens with his bar mitzvah year. He doesn't have a bar mitzvah. He has no Lamed Kislev. So Lamaisa,
He became one day earlier bar mitzvah.
So the Alter Rebbe said he doesn't become bar mitzvah a day earlier. He
He's
has
losing
to
a day.
wait. No, he has to wait.
One more day.
He has to wait till Aleph Kislev. So he has a choice. His bar mitzvah could be Chavtes Kislev, or Chavtes Cheshvan, or Aleph Kislev. It's talking about the 30th day of Cheshvan. That was what he was talking
So
about.
according to the Alter Rebbe, it will be Aleph
Kislev.
Aleph Kislev.
Every 19 years, every birthday, it's English and Hebrew the same day. Every 19 years,
Oh,
they have a
that's the
birthday,
reason.
English and Hebrew the same day.
So this is because of this, yeah. This is the reason, because it's a machzor of Yud Teshanim. Then everything comes back to being the same. It's complete. We're on the schedule with solar and lunar meet. Solar and lunar is the Shnas Levana, Shnas Achama meet.
I read. I'm interested a little tiny bit in archaeology, and archaeologists found just by accident a Greek. I think it was a Greek machine that actually was an astrological machine, but it had every 19 years an exact duplicate, and it's approximately about 2,200 years old, and I think that was approximately the time when Hillel lived. It's just interesting that they made a mechanical clock with gears and everything, and it repeated 19 years exactly. It's just interesting that. But so when did Hillel lived around that time? About approximately what?
2,000 years ago.
About 2000. So it was about that time that this machine was. I think by the Greeks, they believe that it was a Greek scientist who did mathematics.
Sif Yudalid. Avaryen she'over al gzeiras hatzibur she'goz b'nidi v'chedim. What happens if you have someone who transgressed a decree of the community, that the community said whoever does this is going to be excommunicated. They're going to be in Cherem. Oy she'over aveira she'nischayev oleho nidui. Or he did an aveira, not a decree of the community. He transgressed an aveira, which that aveira is deserving of being nidui and excommunication. Mitzdaref leminyan asara l'chol davar shebekdusha. He is considered part of a minyan for 10 people for all aspects of kedusha. Shenemar, it says in Sefer Yeshur regarding Achin who sinned, Chata Yisrael. He sinned. He was a Jew that sinned. Afapi shechata, the Gemara says Yisrael. Even though the Torah still refers to him as Yisrael, even though he sinned, Afapi shechata Yisrael. He's still in his kedusha being a Jew. Yisrael, and therefore he has the kedusha of being able to bring the Shekhinah here. He's able to bring the Shekhinah down. But what happens if the nidui was that he's not allowed to be with them? They excommunicated him from their community, from them. At that point, he can't join them. If he could join them, what did they help with their whole takana, their enactment that they decreed? That those who transgress certain community issues, community enactments, will not be able to participate in community events. If he could still come part of the minyan, he could still join. So what was the whole point of the nidui? However, you're still allowed to daven in the shul where he is davening there. Since there are 10 people without him anyways, so he could daven in the shul and be there, just you can't rely on him for the 10th. Unless they clearly specified in their nidui that he won't even be allowed to daven in the shul. Then the community has the power to say that you can't daven in the shul. Unless if it was not clear in the outset they don't have the rights to tell him that he cannot daven in the shul.
Years ago, maybe 30 years ago, was signs all over in Flatbush that the guy didn't want to give a get for his wife, and he has a nudu, and you're not allowed to let him go to the shul. I knew the guy.
Is that-
So they can make such a thing, right? For get?
Sure.
I don't know if it's halacha. Maybe they're asking the shuls to implement it. Maybe they want the shuls to implement it. I don't know if we can really halachically tell all the shuls they're not allowed to. I'm not
Is
sure.
it considered like Lashon Hara if they pay the posted and they post this guy's name?
What is Lashon Hara?
If it's al pi the rabbanim, then it's not lashon hara.
It's not Lashon Hara.
If the rabbanim have said that this is what they want to announce it.
Thank you.
No, giving a get supersedes Lashon Hara. That's what I'm asking.
If the rabbanim decided that he's supposed to give a get, then he's al pi halacha supposed to give a get. But and they privately warned him and they cautioned him. They called him to them. And they weren't listening.
Probably
In
was
most
more
cases,
than
the
that.
best way to deal with it is to try to deal with it tactfully and deal with it smartly and to talk to the person and bring him in. Yeah. Sif Tezvav.
So with the Frierdiker Rebbe, that when he came to Eretz Yisrael, so they told him this one guy in Yerushalayim, they don't want to give a get for a long time, and everybody. So he's going to come to meet you to say Shalom Aleichem. Please explain to him. The Frierdiker Rebbe told him, you know, that the wife could be out either by get or by Mrs. Sabal, which one you choose. He didn't listen to the Frierdiker Rebbe. Like 5 minutes later, a chop come and eat him. Got killed.
Sif Tezvav. Tzarech shiyu kol ha'asara b'makom echad v'shliach tzibur imahim. The entire minyan needs to be in one area, together, one spot. Miktsasem b'cheder zeh u'miktsasem b'cheder acher einem mitztarefim. They did not consider a minyan. Afa bisha pesach v'sur b'neim. Even though there's a door in between, it's open the rooms. Hafilim haroiv oimdim beveis hakneses. Ve'amiut ba'azara shalafnei beis hakneses. Einam negrorim ach haroiv v'tzaref imahim.
Like in the kitchen here.
Right.
Someone in the kitchen, 9 here, we have to call him.
Correct. We'll see soon. In certain cases, it might be okay. Correct. That's a good example. Now, even if you have the roiv, the majority is in the shul, and the miud, the minority of the minyan, 4 people or less, are in the kitchen. They're in the bazara shalafnei beis hakneses. Einam negronim acharei v'tzaref imahim. Holding in the middle of the 4th line in Sif Tezvav. Ve'afilu ha'indim ala skupa b'seich ha'pesach. Even those who are standing in the doorway, in between the 2 rooms. Min ha'agaf alachutz and shesoiga adelas min mokim safa primis shel oivi adelas v'lachutz k'lachutz shadelas mavdelas bin pnim lachutz. Depends which part of the threshold of the doorway you're standing. If you're standing in the part of the doorway that the area where if you would close the door, you would be considered outside. Then even though the door is open now, but you're standing in that spot is considered part of the other room. In parentheses, he adds that it's not only the thickness of the door, but it's the entire area that the door is swinging. Like let's say a very big doorway entrance. The entire area that the door is swinging out, that area is all considered part that you're outside. Sifta Zayin. But when is this saying that you're not considered mitzuref to minyan? Those that are outside, are not seen by those inside. But if they could see him in the shul, even if he's outside the shul, behind the shul in the back, he shows his face through a window. Even if the window is a few stories up, even if it's not, the window is not wide, dalat tfachim, but you could see him through. Mitzdaref imayim lasara, he is considered part of the minyan. Someone who does not show his face to them, even though he's on top of them, he's on the roof of the shul, so like he's right on top of us. Still no, he can't be part of the minyan. Whether he's on the roof or whether on the top of the walls of the top of the bricks that make up the walls, not on the actual roof, but on the top of the bricks that surround the shul. Shagam oivi haksolim eina migrarim achar toichem lias nidin kemifneim af bishin imar upon lehem.
What would be over here? There's nothing. Somebody over there. It can be installed, right? With this MD. We are 9 people over here and 1 person. There's a nothing over here.
If we could see him, it's good.
Only if we could see him.
See him. I can't see a shadow. We have to see him. He's saying if it's not if it's one of those.
So in our case, it's not good because you can't see.
Not sure. It's probably you have to see his face, facial features, but I'm not sure. So good kasha.
And somebody stay in the kitchen over here, and the window is open. Sometimes you could see a few people. Let's say we are 9 and 1 guy in the kitchen over here, but the window is open, and you could see people from here.
So yeah, someone's in the kitchen and some people are davening over there and they could see him.
And
It's
they could
good.
see him, and he could see. So it's good.
It's good. Yeah.
It's called
That's what I'm
Ma'av
saying. The kitchen is not always a problem. If there are people over there on that side and see him, it's good.
If somebody in the hall by the door, right there,
You can see him.
can see him, so
You
he's
can
not
see him. He's not
mitzvah.
here.
Right? Not mitzvah to
It's
the
on his
minyan.
own.
Correct.
Is that person needs to daven in the minyan if he davens from Nasser on the side?
Good question. L'chora he is. He talks about in Sivchav Beis, but l'chora he is.
I just thought of another scenario. What a woman is supposed to do if the Shalich Tzibor cannot see some of the women in the women's section, and some of the women in the women's section can't see the Shalich Tzibor.
They can answer as long as they can hear it. They hear Kedusha Baruch Hu, they can answer.
They're not in start to me anyway, so it's not very different.
Okay.
It's better. The best thing is that they don't see each other.
Okay.
They can hear.
We're seeing each other. We gotta start worrying. He should be looking in the siddur and davening.
Okay.
Or
So what you're saying is,
Over here, it's a mamash mahadrin upstairs.
what you're really talking about here is the Shalich Tzibor have to see the men who are counted in the minyan.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Sif Yud Zayin.
By the way, it's interesting because I was just reading in the Gemara that two groups close to a zimun, like two people here, 2 people there, they can't see each other, but a waiter in between can.
Oh, your mamash chapping Sif Yud Zayin. Sif Yud Zayin. In miksasim b'fnim, miksasim b'chutz. Some are inside the shul, some are outside the shul. The shliach tzibur agabe ha-skupa toich pesach. The shliach tzibur standing in between, he's at the doorway, and he could see both. Umitzarf, and he's able to connect both together, both groups. He sees both. It's as if some of those that are inside and some of those outside seeing each other. even though they don't see each other, but he's able to bridge the gap and bring them to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why if some of the Kehillah here will see the people who are in the kitchen, it will be okay during the davening. Okay, this gets a little complicated part. You have to keep a cheshbon here. Sif Yud Ches. Chotzer ketana shenifritza b'milua legdoila. Dahainu shenifritza ketana b'mokin chibura legdoila. V'nafo kol eisei koisel shayim mafsik. V'gdula nisharak mish'edis koisel zeh. Pass mikan or mikan.
There's no pictures.
Mm-hmm. Trying to think how the tzir is, but you have a large room, and next to it you have a small room, and the wall in between the small room and the big room fell down. So now they're open. It was broken down. So now they're open one to the other. Right? However, in the big room, still has a remainder of the wall on both sides. Uh-huh.
Could we talking about?
I think it's like this. I think it means it's like this. That the when you have a wall with a room on the other side, a smaller room, if the wall in between the larger room and the smaller room is broken,
Or a curtain. What do you mean?
it's opened up. So the smaller room is now like a corner, sort of like a corner of the bigger room.
Mm-hmm.
However, the bigger room is not considered connected to the smaller room because the entire wall didn't break down. It's just a part of the wall that's where the smaller room is. But they are still, let's say, the long wall on this end still has, the wall still exists. On that side the wall exists of the small room, on the other side the wall still exists. Just that area that where in between the big room and the small room was broken. So the big room is still considered not connected to the small room. However, from the small room's perspective, it looks inside to the big room. There's nothing blocking its vision. It's 100%, the wall between it and the big room has totally been removed. It feels itself like a Keren Zavis, like a corner of the bigger room. Let's see it again. Chatzer Ketana, a small room, Shenifritza b'milua legdoila, which is totally opened up to the bigger room. Dahainu Shenifritza Ketana b'mokin chibur legdoila. This means that the smaller room, the wall has been broken in the area where it's connected to the bigger room. The entire wall in between them fell down. However, in the bigger room, that entire wall didn't come down, just the area of that wall that's in between the two rooms came down. So that wall still remains. Nishara mish'edis koisel zeh, pasim mikan umikan. The wall, there's still a wall standing. Just the wall has a hole in that area. But there's still a wall making the big room a room for itself. The big room is as if it's separated from the smaller room. And from the boards on each side. That they help in order to separate them into different reshusim. When it comes to Hilchos Erev and Hilchos Shabbos, Shafilu Chotzer Acha Shehemi B'Pas Mashimikan Apas Mishakan Ba'emsa Kosle Arakon Eschaka Sheishus Chol Davar Shisar Simin Shin Samagim. On Hilchos Shabbos, the halacha is that even if you have one long room, and they put a little board on this side of the room and a little board on that side of the room, halachically speaking, it's two separate rooms. Mitzad, it's a different reshus. When it comes to Erevin and different things. So over here, in this case, where you have still, the wall still exists, it's just that area of the wall was taken down, so the bigger room is not considered connected to the smaller room. However, Hakitana, the smaller room in the middle of Yudches, Einem Afleges Min HaGdoila, is not considered removed from the bigger room, She'ein Lo Pasim Mikan Mikan, because it doesn't have any wall, its entire wall is over. Its entire wall was removed, it has no wall left to it. It's missing its fourth wall. Entirely missing. The Gedolah still has a wall. Just the part of the wall that's in between the Gedolah and the Ketana was taken away. But the wall is still up. There's still a wall there. Mashenkin, the Ketana has totally lost its fourth wall. That room becomes like a corner of the bigger room. The Ficha, and therefore, what's this Negea to Halacha, this whole discussion? In Tas Bigdoila, if there are 9 in the bigger room, the Echa B'Ktana, 1 is standing in the smaller room. Mitzdaref Imayim Shektana Negreres Acha Gdoila. The smaller room follows the bigger room. It's considered like a corner of the bigger room. So if a person standing in that room, even if you don't see him, if you see him, we don't even have this whole discussion in Sifit Ches, because you see him, even the guys outside the building of the shul, he's considered part of the minyan. But we're talking about if you don't see him, someone's in that room, you don't have to ask him to come to the room inside. Since majority of people are in the bigger room, the smaller room is considered a part, just another corner. Yeah, that corner, and that corner. It's a little bigger. That's another corner. It's just a part of the bigger room. However, there's 9 in the smaller room. The Echa B'Gdoila and 1 in the bigger room. Why don't we say that we should follow the majority and go after the smaller room and say it's mitzdaref? The bigger room does not follow the smaller room, because remember, the bigger room is not considered connected to the smaller room. It's not considered a part of the smaller room. It's 2 different viewpoints of the same situation. And you can say the people in the smaller room should be considered part of the people in the bigger room. Since the people in the smaller room are more than majority, they're 9. So you can't say that 9 should go after 1. There's only 1 person in the Gedolah. Half and half. So just to explain this a little more clearly, there's 2 viewpoints in such a situation. There's 2 viewpoints in such a situation. Here you have the picture, the diagram of the big room, the Gedolah, and this is the Ketana. The wall in between the Gedolah and Ketana was removed. So this room, Ketana over here, has no wall here at all. Their entire fourth wall was removed. It's not here anymore. So the way they view themselves, those in this room, is they are merely just another part, a part of this room. They're a Karen Zavis. There's a corner here, there's a corner here, a corner here. This is another, just a corner of this room. So whoever's in this room, if there's people in this room,
It's like if they're in the big room.
if they're, let's say, the majority of the minyan is in this room, Rave of the minyan's here, Miut of the minyan's here, Miut follows the Rave. So which direction are we going to look? We look Ki'ilu, they're part of the Gedolah, and they're Mitzaref. However, the Gedolah is, people in the Gedolah is not really considered part of this room. Because the Gedolah has a wall here and a wall here. This part of the wall here, wall makes it, that separates it from this section. That it's not as if we're part of this room. Therefore, if we have the opposite, Roiv people, majority people were in the Ketana.
In the Mitztafim.
So, and you had, let's say, one person here. This person here is not going to be mitzvah to those that are in the Ketana. They can't daven in the minyan there. He's not considered 10 people. Because he over here, the Miyut HaMinyan, is not going to be able to be part of this, because those that are in the Gedolah are not seen to be part of the Ketana. Only those that are in the Ketana can be seen part of the Gedolah. Because the Ketana has nothing blocking, its entire wall has been removed. If the Roiv are here in the Ketana, let's say that the Miyut HaMinyan, which is in the big room, should be considered follow the Roiv of the small room.
Why is it separate room?
We don't say that because it's a separate. Because the Gedolah is never bottled to the Ketana.
Because they have the wall.
Because they have the wall. So therefore, only in a case when you have Roiv in the big room and Miut in the small room, then they could join together. Sif Yutesh Goyach. What happens if you have the Chazan in the small room, V'tzibur Gedolah, and the Tzibur's in the big room? So we said before that's a good minyan, but what about he's a Shliach Tzibur also? He's in the small room. He's able to be mitzi them because he's considered part of those that are in the bigger room. In the Shliach Tzibur is in the big room. Tzibur Ketana, Tzibur is in the Ketana. It's the same thing like we said earlier. The Shliach Tzibur doesn't make a difference. Doesn't change the whole situation. Wherever the Shliach Tzibur is. If they're considered connected, they're connected. If not, not. And by the way, this whole situation does not apply to the kitchen here. Because the kitchen, the Ketana is not considered Paretz B'miluah to the Gedolah. The wall, there's a wall on both ends in the kitchen. The entire wall has not been removed, separating the kitchen from here. No. The Ketana is considered separate from this room. It cannot be considered a Karen Zavis, because the kitchen over here has part of the wall. There's just an entranceway. You have a few feet in an entranceway in between, but the Ketana has wall that continues further, and this part of the wall continues further that way. It's only if the entire wall would be broken down in between these two rooms, and basically the kitchen would not have a fourth wall, would lose its entire fourth wall, then that would be considered to this case where it's a Chotzer Ketana part of a Gedolah. You do have such type of rooms.
So if 9 people in the kitchen,
You know,
and
you
one
have-
person here, it's not mitzvah. But the opposite will be good.
This will never be mitzdaref,
Right.
because there are no connection between the two rooms. The only way is if you could see. If you see, if someone's davening over there and you could see the person there, then we consider him part of the minyan.
What I'm deducing from this is when we're davening here in the shul, to try as much as possible to come into the shul.
Correct.
It's hard to see the Shaliach Tzibur, right?
Not just a shliach tzibur, it's seeing the minyan, being part of the minyan.
Got
Rov
it.
Ahmad Rat Melech. Together, it's Rat Melech.
So Barav Ahmad Melech, even after 10, there's an inyan having, someone has a choice to go to a shul which has more people for the Megillah, So he's doing the Megillah B'Roi V'Amad Melech. But once you have 10 already, you could say the brachas after the Megillah and. Okay, Sif Chaf Aleph. In those places that the chazan stands in a special place, a special box or on a bima, this bima has a lot of times gates around it. It's high and has gates around it. So higher than 10 tfachim. Even though he's like in a separate rashus, technically, Api Allah and Shabbos, he's in a separate rashus. He has mechitzas around him. Many places where the chazan, these big, huge shuls, and the chazan stands up in front, or like in front and in front of the Aron Kodesh, and like some raised platform. He's very high up with the gates around him, or he's, nice. Gates, I mean like wood, could be wood, whatever it is, or like a big bima in the middle of the shul, where he's standing on the bima and he's with gates. So maybe he's not part of the minyan; he's a separate rashus. So mitzaref imahem, he is considered part of the minyan. Umeitziam yidei chivasam, and he can be moitzi them their chiyuv mipei shehi b'teil lagabe pekavnes hakneses, because it's considered batul to the shul. This is like a utensil of the shul. This is something that's just part and parcel of the shul. Even though when it comes to standing before a Sefer Torah, when a Sefer Torah is on the move, you're supposed to stand up for the Sefer Torah. When the Sefer Torah is taken out of Aron Kodesh, you're supposed to stand up, covered to the Sefer Torah. But what happens if the Sefer Torah is on the bima already? You don't have to stand up once it's on the bima, because it's a separate rashus. A lot of shuls have a bima which you walk up to the bima. It's a separate rashus. You don't have to stand anymore once the Sefer Torah comes on. So even though that's the case regarding covered Sefer Torah, but regarding the aspect of the chazan who's standing on there, being considered part of the minyan, and being able to be their chazan, the she'etzibi moitzi de chavasim, he is considered part of the minyan. Mikolon kim beteli legabe beis hakneses l'ingen zeh shemitzar from hoyel v'tashish beis hakneses. Since it's made for the shul, v'ragle beis hakneses b'toicha, and the people of the shul are constantly going up and down the bima. But furthermore, even shirei nedos elam mitzarfim. Anyways, you could see him. So since you could see him, or some people at least could see him standing where he is, so he's considered part of the minyan. So there's no issue either way.
It's fast, the shul with the person who was lechodoida. What's his name?
Reb Shlomo Al-Kabetz.
So over there, the bime is mamash middle of the shul and very, very high. Like you need almost a ladder to go more than the Yitfachim.
So now you understand what they're talking about in the Shulchan Aruch.
Mamash, you see the like that high, like Edel's Noshim, that's how he is.
Well, Rabbi Yosef Cairo lived at that time also, so the Baal Shulchan Aruch lived in that time period. They all lived in Tzfas. It was a very holy time over there.
It still exists. The shul still exists. People have davened there.
What's the shul called?
His name.
It wasn't that.
The Arizal and the Beis Yosef davened together.
They print a big lechodoidi on the wall, like the whole front wall.
They do what?
The lechodoidi, the whole wall. He's the one that wrote the lechodoidi.
He's buried right next to the Arizal and the Ramak.
Yes.
In that.
The cemetery.
Yeah, that old cemetery. The Beis Yosef is not buried right there. He's buried somewhere else, I think.
But in Tzfas also.
Yeah, in that cemetery, but no, the same Beis Chaim, but I think all the way down the hill. Yeah.
When did you write down Lechadoli?
It was a Makubal. It has his name on it in the beginning. Shloima. You look.
Al-Kabetz.
Yeah. Well, his first name. Yeah.
Okay.
The entire Seder of davening, the Kabbalah Shabbos, which I think is accepted in all of Klal Yisrael, is it's Kabbalistic origin. The whole Seder is not mentioned in Shulchan Aruch. And Minig Ashkenaz originally didn't have this part of their minig to say this. This is something that.
That's why
This is something which has origins from the Arizal, One of the Talmidim of the Arizal wrote a sefer called Tikunei Shabbos, which he has the whole order of Friday night, how we should daven, which is the basis of what we daven today. When we say L'chon Ranana and all those Mizmorei Tehillim, which we say, and then we have and
Then we go
Chodaidi,
both.
everything is over there set up. Api Kabbalah, this is what you're supposed to
Well,
say
bef-
before Baruch Hu. Because really, Baruch Hu, really just Ma'ariv is Baruch Hu. The whole Seder, Kabbalah Shabbos, is mentioned. It comes from this Sefer from, it's already a lot of years that we're doing, hundreds of years, but this is from, recorded over there. Recorded in the Sefer. The Minig Ashkenaz still does Perek HaMemedlikin. They read the second Perek of Mishnayos, but they read it after L'chadaidi. They read this after, I think, Mizmor Shiri and Shabbos. They learn the first.
When we say Kagavna. they say
Right.
Kagavna.
Instead of saying Kagavna, they are saying
Muhammad Likin.
Perek HaMemedlikin,
So,
which is a, yeah?
Yeah.
It's in the Sidurim.
Yeah.
Just a few Mishnahs, very, very short.
לא בלחם ולא בחוסן ולא בחלב
זה
ולא
בעל פה.
בתחילת העידן
It's
ולא
part of
ברכת
Shir
על פני המים.
Yeah, okay, I think we're going to stop for Ma'ariv.